This iMac is worth so little that the original owner was going to throw it away, but luckily a good friend of mine stopped that from happening because he thought it would make for some good content on my channel. This thing is quite dirty and is now 17 years old. Is it worth using or even fixing up in 2026? Well, let's find out and get started. This is what 1,999 Australian dollars got you in early 2009. One of the last iMacs to feature a 20-inch 1680 by 1050 display. And a bit of cleaning will be required since this has been very well used by the looks of it. And surprisingly, it did indeed come with what I assume is the original keyboard and mouse. A rather nice design. The little scroll ball a little bit worse for wear given the discoloration. Back when this came out, I was obsessed with the idea of owning a new Mac computer. A whole computer crammed inside a sleek aluminium enclosure? Sign me up. 12-year-old me would have to wait a bit to finally own a new Mac, as it would turn out. And this one does appear to be functional. However, the bottom half of the display is slightly dimmer than the top half. While this Mac has had its RAM upgraded to 4GB, it is still running the original 320GB mechanical hard drive. And at this point in the video, I'd say let's install a cheap solid-state drive to increase its responsiveness, but have you seen SSD prices recently? They have like tripled or in some cases quadrupled in price. There is no such thing as a cheap solid-state drive, but either way, I'm going to put one in anyway. And before opening up this aging iMac, let's give the peripherals a wipe down with a bit of eucalyptus oil. I found this particular vintage of white Apple keyboards to clean up very easily. The little scroll ball proved a little bit more challenging to scrub off though, and protecting the display surface is a layer of easily removable glass. Thankfully, it isn't glued onto the frame like in newer iMacs, making for a much easier disassembly or replacement in case of damage to the glass. This particular Mac has been sitting on my shed floor for several months, which is where a lot of this dust may have come from, but it does look like the surfaces are coming up looking smudge-free after a light wipe down. While this Mac isn't very powerful, something that can power it and many other household appliances is today's sponsor EcoFlow with their new Delta 3 Max Plus power station. If you're in the market for a complete, all-in-one power station with an impressive set of features, this might be the one for you. For a power station of this size and weight, the 3000 watt AC output is very impressive, powering nearly any household appliance. What exactly can the Delta 3 Max Plus power? Well, let's find out. With a surge rating of 6,000 watts, the 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter really packs a punch, ideal for running almost any number of appliances up to 3000 watts and slightly beyond, thanks to the X-Boost feature. Charging up the Delta 3 Max Plus is super fast and convenient, be it using AC power, your car's alternator, or even solar power. You can charge this thing so fast you can get it from 0 to 80% in just 47 minutes. By connecting extra batteries, you can expand it to an impressive 10 kilowatts. Having a 10 millisecond switch over time means this thing is great as a UPS for mission critical devices. Compared to other 2 kilowatt hour class power stations and Delta 2 Max, the Delta 3 Max Plus offers higher output, Anderson ports, faster charging, quieter operation, and greater expandability. Built for up to 10 years of reliable usage, featuring stable lithium ion phosphate cells, ready to power whatever devices you might need. What really makes these EcoFlow power stations stand out is the deep level of customization you can do in the EcoFlow app. Set charge limits, automate tasks, or practically anything you could want with ease. Honestly, you really can't go wrong with either one of these power stations. And right now, EcoFlow have some end of financial year sales on. So use my code to save and click the links below to find out more. Or click the QR code on screen now. Thanks to EcoFlow for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to that iMac. This Mac with the black plastic back is becoming harder to find, only found on iMacs released between 2007 and 2009. Later in 2009, Apple would move away from the 20-inch displays with the 16:10 aspect ratio. These newer Macs would retain the optical drive and gain a convenient SD card slot. Many users, myself included, would end up inserting the cards into the DVD tray by mistake. Oddly enough, the 21.5-inch iMacs would retain the same set of ports, with the Ethernet and display ports switched around for some reason. I figured I'd borrow some RAM from the newer late 2009 iMac, which has twice the amount of RAM slots, a rare example of upgrading convenience being added to a newer computer. They were all sadly 2GB sticks, so I couldn't actually use them in the older iMac I'm cleaning up. Perhaps these will work though. I don't actually have any 4GB sticks at the slower speed required for this machine. And oh boy, is that a healthy amount of dust. Clearly this hasn't had its RAM upgraded for quite some time. Will the fast 4GB sticks work in here? Sometimes they'll be detected and just simply run at lower speeds meant for this particular Mac. 3 beeps, meaning a RAM-related startup issue. Perhaps swapping the sticks around will get it working, but nope, still no boot chime. This could mean the sticks are not going to work. One method I have tried before is running a stick that runs at the correct speed alongside the faster one. Now we get a successful boot chime. This does mean we are limited to 6GB, one 4GB plus the original 2GB stick, which is still an improvement. Alright, let's open up this aging machine to see just how much dust has accumulated over the past 17 years. Removing the front glass is easily done with a pair of small suction cups. The magnets are quite strong, so be careful not to lose your grip and accidentally drop the glass. I'd highly recommend following a tutorial, and I've linked the one I used in the description below, along with using a magnetic mat or similar screw organizer for an easier reassembly. In 2012, Apple began adhering their display glass to their iMacs, so older models like this are honestly a lot more friendly to take apart. With all 12 Torx T8 screws removed, lift from the top of the screen and make your way downwards. But don't separate the top portion too far. There's still a small cable connected to the microphone located inside the outer metal casing. That outer casing had a fair amount of dust that I simply vacuumed up. This iMac sure looks a whole lot different now, and you could totally use it like this without the casing on if you wanted to. Now we get a good look at the very dusty CPU fan. This model draws in air through the underside, with the 3 fans pulling air and whatever else upwards through the internals. Removing the display panel is next. First, I'd recommend unscrewing and dislodging the display connector. There is also a display temperature sensor connector hidden under this dust. Several more Torx screws hold the panel to the frame. Again, I'd be very careful not to accidentally scratch the display surface. Lifting up from the left side, you'll also see 4 different power connectors which need to be dislodged. Forgetting about these and simply yanking up the screen might end with a lot of disappointment and a non-functioning display panel. We now get a good look at another dusty fan. This one below the optical drive. I then spent a lot of time blasting out as much dust as I could, finishing up by brushing the visible fan blades. I thought I had more solid state drives, but it turns out I'd used them all for other computer videos, so I'll simply be repurposing one from an earlier Mac that I cleaned up. This is the $67, yeah I know, MacBook Pro that I bought from eBay and did a video on a few years ago, which contained this 128GB Samsung SSD. Removing the original mechanical hard disk from the iMac surprisingly doesn't require the removal of any more screws, although you must disconnect the temperature sensor, which can be simply placed on whatever drive you're putting in next. Newer iMacs integrated that temperature sensor into the hard disks themselves, which was a little bit of an inconvenience as you'd have to bridge some wires or use an adapter with its own temperature sensor during an SSD upgrade. We don't have to worry about that, thankfully. I simply slapped the old sensor onto the new flash memory and held it in place with a few zip ties. It may not be the neatest way to do it, but hey, it gets the job done. And normally I'd also redo the thermal paste, but I found it doesn't do much to improve performance in these particular Core 2 Duo models, with their anemic integrated graphics. And before completely putting it back together, I'll check that the SSD is indeed detected. It sure is. And this drive is patched with a version of macOS Catalina, and to get the backlight functioning correctly, it first needed some additional software, which made the display a lot easier to see. 6GB of RAM and a solid-state hard disk? That's becoming ever more impressive as the worldwide memory chip shortage starts to take hold. And while there are a few steps involved, swapping out a drive in one of these Macs is super easy. Just be sure to remember not to wedge the microphone cable underneath the display, otherwise you'll be removing the display for a second time. And with the microphone reattached, the outer casing can be seated once more.
The main problem these Macs have is that they aren't really old enough or interesting enough design-wise to be worth anything. At this exact moment, they are basically at the lowest they'll ever be worth. In other words, practically nothing. Will that change in the future? I don't really think so. It is only worth seeking out one of these kind of Macs if you can actually use it. To be honest, it still has just enough performance to do some basic tasks, and if you're going to upgrade it, it's got to be worth it for you because putting in an SSD and upgrading the RAM will far exceed the value of the unit, even once you install those components. While I am very fond of this particular design, if you're going to spend some time and money to upgrade one, get a similar vintage higher spec 24-inch one with dedicated graphics memory. That being said, this particular Mac can still be useful for basic tasks, and paired with this excellent keyboard is great for document writing. Web browsing and full HD YouTube playback are also totally fine on here, which for some people is all they use a computer for. But sadly, the super weak Nvidia 9400M integrated graphics means this will struggle with most games. A modern version of Minecraft with the resolution and render distance lowered still really struggles. Simple games such as old school RuneScape actually ran fine on here though. This was a decent experience, even at the native resolution of 1680 by 1050. You'd also have to lower the settings in games such as Super Tux Kart to get a playable frame rate. At 1280 by 800 on medium settings, I found this decent enough. And it's kind of mind-boggling that this 20-inch iMac design is almost 19 years old, with this particular Mac clearly seeing many years of heavy use, but it can still be used to get work done after all that time, with a decent selection of ports. And some people may find that optical drive very useful. For a free old Mac, I'm glad it was saved from the trash and is now in my collection.
Thank you very much for watching. With the RAM and solid state drive price increases, is it really worth investing in an old Mac like this? Arguably, less so than ever. But either way, I had a good time cleaning this thing out and getting it running as good as I can. But now, getting drives cheap is, you can't do it anymore. This includes SD cards, so yeah, keep your cards and old computers running because the future's looking pretty unknown. Thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video, I had a lot of fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.